I'm not gonna lie, with the way dating is going, it's starting to seem to me like polygamy and open relationships are the future. We as a people are experiencing more optionality than possibly ever before. Women for sure experiencing way more optionality now, but men too. You know, men too. At least, well, let me rephrase that, because we're also going through a male loneliness epidemic, we could say. So it's not all men, right? And that's kind of my point. Is that everyone knows that, in a manner of speaking, all the women go toward a select few of men. Well, then, eventually, you know, these women can only get passed around so much before they revolve to the same faces. So I'm thinking, okay, well then clearly by that point you're not going to get your needs met by just one person. And I mean, I don't think that even in a monogamous relationship, one person is supposed to meet all your needs. They could meet a certain core set of needs, right? But you know, you need friends, you need companionships of other types, and you need a relationship with, we could say, a divinity, a spark of divinity within you, right? A God, we could say. There's many needs that may not be met by a partner. But it just seems like the deeper we go into the age of social media and artificial intelligence and dating apps, like, how could one ever be content with just one person at this point? Now, I'm not saying I'm becoming like that. I recognize the impulse in me. I recognize the impulse in me to be like, if I'm going to be getting more wealthy, especially me as a man, more wealthy, more attractive, stronger, healthy. I'm 28. Assuming I live another 20 years, I'm going to be getting more of these things throughout the next 20 years. So then why ever settle? Right? Why ever settle when I can basically get higher and higher and higher caliber women, in a manner of speaking? I know this sounds very like red pill, dogmatic, to that type thing. I'm not red pilled. I understand where they're coming from, but I don't consider myself that. Why would I ever settle? And that is the trap. Because that's the same trap, or I should say, that is the same trap that is causing me to feel like polygamy and open relationships are the future. Because now that we know that there's baddies everywhere, the baddies know that the men, there's only a certain amount of them before they just run out. Either they get married or who knows, right? Eventually, it seems like there's going to be a future where one very wealthy and powerful man just has like 5 to 10 different women, you know, and kind of like casually rotates his 5 and kind of has his starting 5, and then maybe casually rotates 1 or 2 out, you know. And it seems to me like, with the way dating is going, women are almost going to have to settle for that. They're going to have to settle for like, okay, well, if the endless hypergamy, right? If the endless impulse toward hypergamy is not satiated in some way, well, then you're only going to want a more powerful, a more wealthy man. And there's only so much of those to go around. So then, and those men usually have a bunch of women. So instead of settling for some guy who is not that wealthy and not that powerful, why not just be one of 5 or one of 10 or one of however many? Now, would I like to believe that this is not the future? Yes, I would like to believe that. But there's at least a part of me that says this might be a real possibility. You know, we might get to a point where, where monogamy is, it's almost considered lame. It's almost considered like, really? Like, that's the best you could do is one person, right? From the males and from the men and the women. Like, wow, you only have one girlfriend? Like, why? Like, you must not really got it. You must not be that guy. You must not really got it like that. And then with the women, it's like, I want a certain lifestyle. I want a certain something. So I found the guy, very wealthy, very powerful. He has women. Oh, well, in exchange for that lifestyle, I'll be one of the women. Now, I will say this is like a very somewhat narrow-minded hypothesis for the world, but I just had to share it because I can't be the only one who thinks this. You know? Like, I can't be the only one who thinks, yo, our exposure to all these people from all different tax brackets in all different parts of the world, this is the type of stuff that we've never experienced as a human race before. At least as far as we know, right? In the last, 20, 30 years? We never knew there were this many beautiful women out in the world. We never knew that there were this many wealthy men out in the world. I mean, we knew it, but now we could see it. We could put a face to it, a name to it. So, I wonder. Sometimes I wonder about the use of monogamy. Just relationships in general. I asked one of my mentors, and he says, the purpose of relationships is to bring more life. And it sounds simple, but it's true. You're bringing more life into your life. I can't call it anymore, really. It seems like it could either go either way. It seems like with the way that we're trending is toward open relationships and polygamy. But then there may be a point where this trend overcorrects, and now people suddenly start viewing the sticking with one person and being that down, ride or die as the real thing, right? The real way to have a relationship. But then again, it doesn't seem like there's really one way. Because I've definitely met some people who I'm like, I have no idea how you're gonna be monogamous. You are out here. You are out here. And you do not show signs of slowing. And even if you find the man or the woman that's good enough to make you, to tie you down, eventually normalcy kicks in, right? You have sex with them a few too many times to the point where you're like, what else is there? Especially if you're on someone, or if you're someone who is on social media a lot, eventually you'll come across someone else you want, right? Doesn't mean you need to act on it, but there's only so many times you can expose yourself to that before you start questioning it maybe a little too seriously. Well, if this message found you, it is for a reason. My name is Simbo Lumen. I make music, and I also have an incredibly brilliant mind. And we resonate for a reason.